Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Test Chamber. I'm your temporary host, Jeff Cork, joined today with Kyle Hilliard.
Hey, how's it going, Jeff Cork?
I said with. How about by? Joe Juba.
Hey, I'm your temporary guest, Joe Juba.
Excellent, and Kyle is on the sticks.
So, yeah, we've got Assassin's Creed Liberation here. This one is sort of set up as, because we just saw like the Abstergo logo there. The premise for this one, like the other ones have like Desmond sort of guiding it. The idea for this one is that like this is a product made by Abstergo for Templars to use to sort of see things from the Assassin's point of view or something, but still make the Templars look good.
Yeah, actually, I kind of had a question about that. I mean, this might be spoilers, so you can cut me off if it needs to be cut off. But like, is Aveline, like, is she a descendant of somebody, or an ancestor of somebody? Or?
They pretty much take the modern day timeline out of this completely. So all like those questions really aren't relevant. It's just the idea that it's, this is a piece in history that for some reason the Templars wanted their like trainees to see.
And where are we?
Nolans.
Yeah. Thanks,
Big
Kyle.
Easy.
The Big Easy. Yep. So this is the young version of the heroine Aveline. And yeah, in this sort of, we're just going to go through a little bit in the intro here. Kyle is
chasing some chickens.
Yeah, doing the old chicken chase. But I mean, you can see from the way the city is set up and all of that like unlike some previous handheld Assassin's Creed games, this one actually is like trying to be a real Assassin's Creed game. It's not, the cities aren't like hilariously sparse, and it's not some like 2D platformer or something. Like it's a real Assassin's Creed game, though. Like I said in my review, which you can read on the site if you're interested, it's not exactly a great Assassin's Creed game, but it is ambitious.
So can you delve into that a little bit? What keeps it from being a great Assassin's Creed game?
Well, there are a number of factors at play for this game. One of them is, for me, one of the hooks is that Aveline has these sort of like three personas that she switches between. So when she's not a child anymore, we'll get to see one of them. But you're supposed to like switch between them, and they supposedly have different abilities and stuff like that, right? Well, I mean, they do have different abilities, but the idea is that the game's supposed to give you an incentive to like switch between them all the time. To like, hey, like the idea is, oh, cool, this time I want to like charm some guards, so I'm going to use the lady. And this time I want to like get in a fight, so I'm going to use the assassin persona. But because each one also has some handicaps, like the assassin, the assassin cannot go below a certain level of notoriety. So the guards are always just sort of going to be, on your tail as the assassin. And the lady can't climb anything. Ever. So it's like, turns out climbing is an important part of Assassin's Creed. So that gets to be a little bit of a problem, because it feels like each of the three characters feels like they're handicapped, but none of them have what you feel like is an assassin's full arsenal. It's like, okay, you have to be the slave if you want to blend in with a group of workers, and you have to be the lady if you want to charm someone, and you have to be the assassin if you want to get into a real big throwdown kind of thing. So like, but Ezio can just do all of those things.
Right.
So that's one of the concerns. But I mean, it does, if you've played any Assassin's Creed 3, you can see from what's going on the screen there that like it does borrow a lot from that combat system. So it's focused a lot more on the kind of on the counter thing and less about the going from target to target and the sort of like chain kill thing that Ezio did a lot of in Brotherhood and Revelations.
So do you have some kind of hub that you upgrade throughout the game? I know that's been a big part of Assassin's Creed.
No, that's not in this one. The upgrade loop isn't there, but what it does have is a shipping, like you run your father's shipping business in the game. So that means that it's kind of like a cross between what the Brotherhood games were, or like the Brotherhood mini games were in previous titles, and like what the trading thing is in Assassin's Creed 3. where you basically just like send ships across the Atlantic, and sometimes there's a risk for pirates or a storm or something, and then you buy goods at one price and try to sell them at a higher price. And that's your main way of making money, but you have to interact with it actively. It's not like passive. In the other games, you just sort of automatically get this money kind of flowing in. So
how does that, like the captains are calling you on their phones or something? What do you...
No, it does. Well, that's another kind of problem with it. It's like it doesn't tell you when your ships are done. So like it might say like, this ship takes 16 real-time minutes before it arrives. But you never get a notification, so you just kind of have to stop back at your headquarters frequently to like manage that stuff. So anyway, but I don't want to dwell on the negative of it completely either, because like I think, if you look at it, I think it's a pretty visually impressive game. It's got some graphical glitches here and there, but I mean, it looks like an Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
It generally plays like an Assassin's Creed game, combat-wise and stuff like that. The story, I mean, it's where the story falls a little bit short. Aveline isn't exactly like, her quest isn't as focused or enthralling as like Connor's or Ezio's or anything like that.
Does she have a place within the larger lore, or does it just feel like it's something that happened, but it doesn't really matter?
I want to say that it matters a lot, but it doesn't. It is something that like fans of the Assassin's Creed series will definitely appreciate just the sense of the world and the way it kind of builds on the mythology, but it's not like it fills in some big gaps. It's not like, hey, you always wondered about blank and this game gives you the answer. Because, it just doesn't really happen.
I just jumped off a building and died immediately, right as we started getting into the climbing.
So it has ragdoll physics. You can confirm that.
Yeah, it's funny because one of the things we've been talking about on the Office Assassin's Creed 3 is it kind of has a little bit of a slow start.
Mm-hmm.
But this, you're just kind of like, you're Aveline, you're an assassin, go for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're a child for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, and that's kind of the price you pay for this game too, in the sense that like this just kind of throws you in the story and you don't get a good sense of who's who and what's happening or why. Whereas obviously Assassin's Creed 3 starts a little slower, but when it picks up, it's built a good foundation for itself. And this one seems to be geared a little bit more towards the. I mean, I don't know what I necessarily think about the idea that portable games need to have quick, easily digestible missions. I mean, like. I think most people around here are not like playing it on their 10-minute train ride or anything. I think people are interested in a more involved sort of thing. But I feel like part of the way this game is sort of structured is to accommodate maybe a little more drop in, drop out kind of style.
Yeah, I hope this video conveys it, because it really is a very nice looking game.
Yeah, it's too bad we have to sort of do it the way we're doing it, but.
Yeah, but as you can, that little pan right there, I mean, like you just got, this is a full city, you know what I mean? Like you really got a good look at what it looks like and climbing, and I mean, it feels like an Assassin's Creed game, which is great.
Yeah, the controls are identical.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, they're pretty similar. It takes a lot of cues from Assassin's Creed 3, like I said too, in the sense that like you don't need to hold the trigger and press X to run forward. You just hold the trigger, which is one of the changes they made for 3. So things like that. New Orleans isn't the only place that you go. You also go to, there's like a bayou that's kind of like the frontier in Assassin's Creed 3. It's sort of it's a less populated, more wild kind of area that you spend a fair bit of time in. And then you go to a couple other locations that are kind of spoilery, so I don't want to say too much about them. But, New Orleans is definitely the primary setting, but it's not the only place that you spend your time.
Is there anything else you want to bring up, Joe?
The other main thing, and one of my bigger complaints about the game too, is that for a Vita exclusive, I found the Vita specific controls to be broken in most cases. Like, not just, that's kind of a tacked on gimmick. Like, there's one point where you like open up letters and you have to like hold them up to a bright light to sort of see, I don't know, the embossed image on it properly or something. And like I held it directly up to the sun. I held it an inch away from a light bulb in my house. It just seems completely unable to like detect light. There's a part where there's like, you know those sort of ball, like rolling ball mazes.
Yeah,
right?
little labyrinths.
Yeah. There's something like that supposedly uses the tilt function, but it is so unpredictable and weird that it's like it just it does not work. So it's kind of weird for a game that's supposed to be like showcasing what the Vita can do, that the time that the Vita features are front and center is where the game is just really at its absolute worst. So
looking past that, what did you give it?
I gave it a 7.75. And you know, part of that is like I enjoyed playing this game as a fan of Assassin's Creed. I like the lore. I think Aveline is a cool character. The missions could use a little more variety. They do a lot of the sort of standard follow this person, kill this person stuff. There aren't a lot of moments that when you finish playing you'll be like, oh yeah, that part was awesome. But you know, it feels like an authentic Assassin's Creed experience. But you know, it just has a lot of sort of design and technical things that keep it from being one that's super positive all the time. So that's my 2 cents. You can read my review online for more.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for showing off the game, and good job, Kyle. Only 1 death.
All right, much better than
We'll take it.
when I played Halo earlier.
All right. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you again.